Hello, my name is Nadia Strachan and I am your interior design consultant. Now, I really believe that interior design has the ability to inject new life into your home or your property. I'm a firm believer that if you can change your story, however small, you can in effect change your life. And I believe interiors has that unique standpoint of whereby it can change your story and in turn change your life. So I have seen over the years, I've been an interior designer for at least 20 years, and I have seen people's lives transform over that time. And I want to help you along that journey as well. Now, the first thing I suggest that you do is to actually print out your download of your design consultation in hard copy, as I have done here. So you can see, I'll bring it a little bit closer. Oops, a little bit closer. So you can see. So I would suggest, first of all, print out your download of your design consultation. The reason being, yes, you can have your download on your phone or on your laptop, etc., but they can run out of charge, and so that's just something that happens with modern technology. But once you've got the hard copy there, you can pull it out, have it in your bag, and it's easy to use, and you can take it around to stores, shops, whatever, and to refer to it very easily, very quickly. And also you can make notes on it as well, to also increase the consultation experience as well. So that's something that you can do. As I'm talking to you in this consultation, I would suggest make little notes actually on the hard copy, and that will be able to help you to be able to garner more information that you can use as you put together your scheme. Now, the next thing I want to bring to your attention is that I have given you three options. There is the full DIY option, DIY meaning do it yourself, and that is the option whereby you can renovate everything yourself, go and look for the items yourself. Obviously you purchase it yourself, but you paint the walls yourself, you do everything pretty much yourself. So that's a DIY option. There is also the DIY and the trade option. That's where you do part of what I just said with DIY, but also you get certain trades in to do things that you cannot do, perhaps like the electrics or the plumbing or fitting new flooring, things like that. You may be able to do it because the age of YouTube, there's a lot of things you can learn to do yourself. I do not recommend that you do things like plumbing or electrics yourself, unless you are a tradesperson and you know how to do electrics, or you know how to do plumbing, or better still, if you know somebody who does it and they can do that for you. But please make sure that they're certified. That's the only thing I would say. Please make sure that they are certified if they're going to do those vital pieces within your scheme for you. The next route is full trade. Full trade, that is where by you basically you can contact all the tradespeople and get them to come in and to actually implement all the things. So you get somebody to come in and paint your walls, get somebody to do your electrics, get somebody to renovate certain items of furniture. So you get a full trade. So you just basically contact certain tradespeople, or if you want to hand it to somebody else to do, you can print it off and say, do this for me. If you're fortunate enough to do that, that is something that you can do as well. So that works really, really well as well. If you find that you are actually an interior designer, I would say please do use this as a tool to increase your saleability with your clients. That works well as well. Or if you're a student of design, you want to be an interior designer, you want to learn how to do it, this is a great tool to learn how to do that as well. So there's many different ways you can go at it, and it can help you as well. The next thing I'm going to look at is the product that you have chosen. Now, in this video, you have chosen the Livingroom, and you've chosen the Shabby Chic style. Now, one of the things I want to explain to you about the Shabby Chic style is that it is a style whereby it doesn't mean that every piece in your home is shabby chic. Shabby chic means it's aged. It's not necessarily an antique, it's just a used piece, a piece that has a history to it. So it's usually a piece that has some sort of story behind the piece. So I have, within the schemes, if I can show you, I have contrasted the pieces. For example, this is the room. I have contrasted pieces one against the other so that you can see that a shabby chic piece needs to be contrasted in order for it to be showcased. If every piece in your room is a shabby chic piece, then it will just look tired rather than aged or showcased. It will just look like a really tired room. But when it's showcased in the right light against other pieces, then it looks beautiful, and it looks aged, and it looks rich, and it looks like it has a very interesting story. So it's a really interesting interior, shabby chic, but there is a knack to getting it just right. One of the things I would say is that the living room as well, because you've chosen the living room is the style dictator of your home. This means that whichever style you have chosen for your living room, generally the rest of the home follows suit to a certain degree. So if you have a shabby chic living room, generally the rest of your home is usually shabby chic as well, or a very close genre of shabby chic. If you choose that I'd only want one room to be shabby chic, and I want another room to be a Victorian, another room to be classical, etc., then what I would say, that is okay. It's an unusual route, but it's still okay. I would say stick to just 4 colours within those rooms overall, 4 colours. The reason I say that, you can have different styles, but if you go outside of 4 colours and you start having about 8 different colours, it starts to look chaotic. So 4 colours will tie all the different styles in each room together. And you can use that rule of thumb throughout your home, even if you decide to do shabby chic, but throughout the each room in your home, you can use that, and it will work beautifully. But 4 colours is a general rule of thumb to stick with. And as I say, it's important with the shabby chic style to showcase the pieces and not have all the pieces shabby chic. That's the important thing to making this style work really well, and also great lighting if you can do that as well. Now I have presented this in the form of lifestyle scenarios. For the first lifestyle scenario, you can see here I've got lifestyle. It tells you a little breakdown about the lifestyle scenario, and I have chosen this person. This is a lady called Susan West, and these are her 2 children, Bradley and Heather, and you can read all about their story there. So that's in this in the next part of it. The photo analysis, this tells you basically just a general rundown of what her scenario is all about. It doesn't mean that you have to have the same scenario as her. It's just to put it into context so we can relate the style to a real light sort of environment, and that will, I think, will help you to be able to pinpoint certain aspects that you can also relate to. She lives in a 3-bedroom apartment. If you live in a smaller accommodation, you just pare the design down. If you live in a larger accommodation, then you just increase the volume and add more items. So it doesn't matter about the size of the property. It's just about just putting this whole story, as I say, it's all about changing your story and changing your life, putting this story into context. So moving on from there, if we look at the first picture, if I can give you that as a picture, is this room generally, you can see when I talk about contrast, on the panelled wall, not a panelled wall is usually something quite an aged thing, but I've made that look like the newest piece. And the panelled wall, I've given it a nice, really crisp finish to it. And that in itself, being panelled, has enough interest. So that's why I've made it really crisp. And then I put the brick wall, and that is the shabby chic element of the room, is brick wall. Now, the brick wall, if you wish if you don't have a brick wall, you can buy a faux brick wall and then paint it. And that would give you the same effect. So you can buy from DIY places, home depot sort of places. You can buy a faux wall, attach it to your wall, or you can buy this embossed sort of brick style wallpaper and then paint it as well. So that's a very easy way to achieve a brick effect on your wall, then just paint it. And that is the shabby chic element of your walls. Then on another wall, if you can see in the other side of the living room, I have put a patterned accent wall. Now, an accent wall, I think, is an important piece. The brick wall is a shabby chic. It's not really enough to be an accent. I think something that's a little bit more texture, more interest to it, a bit of detail. So I have chosen this beautiful pattern, which ties the colours within the room together as well. As you can see in my home, I have an accent wall here. As you can see, it's a toile de jour accent wall, but also that accent wall, I have used that in my hallway. So you can see that's my hallway there, and I've used the same wallpaper in my hallway that showcases that wallpaper in another room. So you can use it in various different parts of the room. It doesn't have to be on the main wall in front of you. It's just adding another dimension to your room. Also within this room as well, one of the things I want to show you is the furniture. The furniture that I've chosen has a very distinct structure to it, a wooden frame structure. But the seating, that's maybe where the fabric can be the shabby chic element. The seating can be a beautiful aged silk look, and that gives you the shabby chic element. What I would say, if you are going to go for second-hand furniture is beautiful, it's wonderful. The only thing I would add to that is please change out the interiors of the seat cushions, or if there's back cushions, change out the interiors and buy new seat cushions, new back cushions. It's the same premise as buying a new mattress. Generally, we don't buy a second-hand mattress for obvious reasons, because there are little creatures usually living in there. Same with your second-hand seat interiors. Please change out your interiors. But you can simply launder the actual coverings, and so you don't need to change the covering. Just launder them or get them cleaned in situ if you buy second-hand So that takes care of that element. Also, you can see I have paired this up with a wonderful sort of Louis the 16th style chair. Same thing again. I would say if that's an older chair, please, if you can, replace the interior. You could get an upholsterer to do that, or you can do it yourself. You can strip it back, take out the interior, put a new one in, cut it to size, and then staple it back on. It's as simple as that. And then clean the rest of the existing items. On the floor, it's a wooden floor, and generally a lot of people use that wooden floor to say that's a shabby chic element of your room. If you want to leave it as it is, I would say that's great. And you can whitewash the wood. I would whitewash it because I think it helps give a lift to the room when you have a lighter floor base. Or you can put a new floor in, or if you have an existing floor, paint it white. Now, the white look is very crisp, but you must understand that over time, the longer you have the floor, the more you use the floor, the more worn it would look, and then the more the shabby chic comes into play. So I think it's a really good way of doing that. With the rug, I've got a lovely seagrass rug, really hard wearing, great rug, really crisp look. And it has like a dual element. It looks sort of rustic, which is a lovely look to it. But it's got a lovely crisp line around it. It's got a lovely border strip. If you find a rug and it doesn't have the border strip, that's fine. You can attach it yourself or get somebody to attach it for you. So you can attach a strip to that by buying a tape trimming. So there's other ways to create this. The key thing that you'll probably notice in this room is this chest. A wonderful chest. It's been aged. It's shabby chic. If I can bring that right in, I hope you can see it. Beautiful. Wire ages anything. I would say if you're going to age it yourself, scrub it down with a wire wool, then go over it with sandpaper, not too vigorously, and then seal it with a light matte or satin clear varnish, a matte finish or a satin finish clear varnish to seal it, just so to say if there's any splinters or anything, just to keep it safe and also preserve it. And the look that you've achieved, you'll be able to keep it permanently. So that's a really good way to do it as well. So that's what I would say I would do with that. So that generally is that room. And there's I could talk all day just about this room. I think it's absolutely stunning. The beautiful thick velvet curtains. I would say, buy it as a panel, get it made up. And you'll be able to see in your schedule where you can purchase all these from. But it just adds that richness and that depth and that contrast and the textures, and I think it's great. If we look at the other one, this sofa here, this is important. This sofa, this is what I call a comfortable sofa. Every living room must have a comfortable sofa. It is your living room. You live in that room. You spend most of your time in that room. I know the kitchen is a great room and people spend a lot of time in the kitchen, but when it comes to relaxing, falling asleep, having a heart-to-heart, your sofa. Now, this sofa that I've chosen, if you're in the UK, as I am in the UK, I went to a company called Sofas and Stuff, and I found a wonderful sofa called the Lanhydrock. Now, I would say it's arguably one of the most comfortable sofas I've ever sat on. And I would recommend that you, if you can purchase that sofa, please purchase that sofa, that same sofa. The Lanhydrock is wonderful, and you'll see the details in the scheduling in the next video. Now, Sofas and Stuff are a wonderful company, and they have a number of sofas in house fabrics. House fabrics are a lower price point, but the quality is still fantastic. I personally have a Sofa and Stuff sofa myself. My sofa here, this is actually from Sofas and Stuff, and that particular sofa that I have, that model they don't actually make anymore, but they do a similar variety of that model. I would say go to that showroom because they do a great range of loose cover sofas. This sofa, it looks like a fitted sofa, but it's actually a loose cover sofa. So that means that the outer fabric and all the coverings can be removed and laundered. I say ideally dry clean your covering. When you take off that cover, dry clean it, because that way it will not shrink and it will retain its integrity. If you find that you don't want to do that, you can take it to a laundromat. Do not try and fit it into conventional washing machine, because a conventional washing machine is too small, the drum's too small. Take it to a larger laundromat, launder it. But you must place it back onto the sofa whilst it's still damp. So it's a technique to it. But if it's dry cleaned, then you don't have to worry about that. Also, another thing to remember about loose cover sofas, you can buy additional loose covers. So if you buy a loose cover sofa, you can buy a spare set as well. So if you want to change the look, if you want to get a lighter version of it or another color, you can buy 2 loose covers. So that's a great thing. You get like 2 sofas for the price of 1. I think I would say when you go to sofas and stuff, or a store like that, I would say ask them if you can buy the showroom piece, if that works for you. Usually you can get it at a lower price point. If they're not selling their showroom piece, they usually have lots of different stores around the country. Ask them if they can contact one of their other stores and ask them if they're selling their showroom piece, or if there's a piece in clearance in any of the other stores or in the store you're in. So there's lots of different ways to get hold of that, or you can simply wait for the half price sales, which is always a great way, which I recommend for pretty much most items. If you can wait for the sales, half price is what I did with pretty much everything I own. Yeah, I found out when the sales are. So usually I do renovations close to a sale. Most people have sales. Most stores have sales at least 3 times a year. So you won't have to wait very long, and it gives you time to plan as well. So I say wait for the sales. Also, another great thing about this is the lighting. The lighting is always the shabby chic element of it. You can create so much theatre and drama with lighting. Please do not skimp on the lighting. Accent lighting, that's just directed lighting, like table lamps create accent lighting, or floor lamps. Overhead lighting, if you can attach dimmers to your switches, that helps with overhead lighting as well. That's what we call ambient lighting. Also, wall lights, they create so much drama and so much, such a sense of warmth. And so I think if you can get at least 2 of those elements, it would be fantastic. All of the elements, wonderful. So I would say definitely go for that. In this room, I've got a different rug in this half of the room, which is more of a softer, multicolored rug, because sometimes we just like to lie on the floor, and so we want a really comfortable, soft, cozy rug that you can lie on the floor in front of the beautiful stone fireplace. Now, if you're in an apartment, or sometimes maybe you don't want a stone fireplace, they are quite big and heavy, you can go to the same outlet that sells stone fireplace, and often they sell what we call a faux version of it, where it's been sprayed with a stone effect, and it still looks incredibly like the complete solid stone. Or you can get a stone veneered fireplace. There is that option as well, so it's good to ask them about the different options. And a stone veneer, it's like you can have a solid wood floor. You can also have a stone veneered item as well, where it's just a thin sliver of the stone that's been placed over usually some sort of wooden prefab to create that feel or that look as well. So They also are at a lower price point, so it's a good idea. You can ask for those as well, so that would work as well. And especially if you're in an apartment, you don't want that weight maybe of a stone fireplace, but you want the look, so go for the faux effect or the veneer, and I think that will work really well as well. So here I just want to talk about a really lovely piece in here. I've got this lovely mirror, and it's actually a garden mirror, which I think is wonderful because it always has that sort of robust, rugged look, which really lends to the shabby chic element of a garden mirror. And it's made to be outside, so it doesn't matter what you throw at it or what you do to it, how many knocks you give it, it will stand up to anything, because it can stand up to being weathered. So I think that's a beautiful touch, to have a lovely sort of outdoor garden mirror in this space. And I've got here these beautiful shutters on this side as well, and they have been just painted black. An unusual colour for shutters, I know, but you can stain your shutters black, or you can paint them black, or you can just order them black. You can buy them from reclamation yards, and you can ask them if they can strip them before you take them home, because rarely will you find them in black. But you can ask them if they can strip them, because usually what they'll do, they'll dip them, and so that all the old varnish will be already taken off, because that's a really hard thing to do with shutters. So they can dip them before you take them away, and then you can actually paint them, stain them black yourself. And I think it's a lovely contrast, because it really works with these beautiful chairs in the foreground here, which have this sort of black spindled effect. So it ties the whole scheme together, and it really grounds it, I think, as well. So I think this is a really great look. Or you can simply order the shutters in black. So that's another way to go as well. So that's a DIY, or the full DIY, or the full trade. It's up to you, whichever way you decide to go. What I would say is, please do your best to stick to all these sort of criteria that I've listed there, in order to get the best effect possible. I would say that the shabby chic look is probably one of the most interesting of all the interiors that I probably could put together for you. It's a really interesting look, and I think you will not be disappointed at all. I think you'll absolutely love it, and I think everybody that comes to your home or into your property will absolutely love it as well. Now the next video is going to be dealing with the breakdown of your interior, looking at the scheduling, the key, just the different aspects of it, the products and where you get them from, and the suppliers, and just your options with that. So please do join me for the next video. I know you're going to love it. Thank you for that, and look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you.